This video today, I'm gonna go over the exact reasons and situations I was in back in university that made me find out that college, university, it's basically a scam, and what I actually did instead to progress where I wanted to go in life instead of wasting valuable years of my youth, going down the wrong path, wasting time, and most of all, getting in debt. So let's go ahead and dive straight in. So first off, the most important thing and the most crucial thing I found out about university is that I was learning from a fake guru. My professor, I went to school for like a business degree on a basketball scholarship. And the professor I was learning from to teach me how to do business and all that, I mean, she never in her life ever operated in a business or owned her own business herself. So I was learning from someone like Red Skull in the Avengers Infinity War. He was leading Thanos to a treasure that he himself could not possess. And that's exactly what these professors that were trying to teach me, something that they've never done themselves. So I mean, that was the number one thing. I was learning from someone who's never touched six figures, someone who's driving a Honda Civic, a beat up Honda Civic, to teach me on how to get rich and how to start a business. And it just did not make sense whatsoever. Now, this was definitely the most important kind of factor that like opened up my eyes to reality. Like, okay, well, I'm learning. And the number two thing is I was learning all these different classes like language, Christianity classes, like all these different classes that didn't really resonate with what I actually wanted to learn. Like I was going to math, history, psychology, which psychology was probably the most important class I went to out of my like year and a half in university that even taught me a little bit. And even that, I mean, it was very surface level stuff, not very deep. And I mean, it just really didn't teach me anything, didn't give me any value as a man, and if anything, just wasted my time and money. And I did go for a year and a half. I got like maybe $22,000 in debt. But I mean, some people, they go for like 4 years, 8 years out of their entire life, waste their entire 20s learning something that may not even get them a job. Like there's no guarantees that if you go through university, through college, that you're guaranteed to get a job. Now there can be exceptions. Like if you're going to like a trade school, they teach you everything you need to know, like being an electrician, no harm in that. There's a lot of money with electricians. Like there's a really decline in electricians right now. So if you're learning to do anything with electrician type of stuff, I don't know what they're called, what type of school that is, but I know my friend Will, he went to trade school. He's getting paid while he's learning. So that is an exception because you're learning from someone who's actually done it. But my friend Anani, he's actually a remote closer now. He went to medical school for 8 to 9 years. And the 8th or 9th year, one of his final years in university, he's already $300,000 plus in debt. He got kicked out and didn't get a degree and is not even using his degree now. He's actually doing what I'm doing at 21, and he's like 28, 29 right now. And he's doing the exact same thing I'm doing. So he's now $300,000 in debt, which is crazy. That's an insane amount of debt. And he doesn't even use what he was going to school for. So that's number two, is that you're going to all these different classes that don't even help you move the needle forward and actually learning the tangible skills you need to operate in business, which is what I went to school for. And then number three, the partying, the drinking, the associating yourself with a lot of people that aren't really people you want to surround yourself by. It's very glorified, especially in the States, to get drunk out of your mind pretty much every single day, to smoke weed, bang a bunch of different girls. It's really cool. That's like what's kind of advertised is the frat life, the sorority lifestyle, where you just go to parties, network with a lot of people in the wrong way. You drink, party, do dumb shit. I did that exact dumb shit myself. And it was really bad for me as well because I lived in the mountains. So I would go out like 30 minutes away down the mountain, go to this bar with a lot of people, had some fun, of course. But then I'd have to drive drunk all the way back up the mountain, go through swervy roads, had to dodge deer, had to slap myself awake because it was so dark, there were no street lights. And I mean, it was very exciting, to be completely honest. I was living life on the edge, driving drunk in the mountains. I do not recommend that to you guys, but that's just not what you should be doing if you're trying to be successful in life, if you're trying to start a business and try to move the needle forward financially and towards success. How does that help? It really doesn't. So I mean, that's really just number three, just distractions, a degenerate lifestyle of just sleeping around with a bunch of different girls, smoking, drinking, accumulating a lot of debt. That will just set you back in terms of like moving the needle forward and moving the needle backward, if that makes sense. Like you're grinding in the wrong direction. And that's number three. It's just you're using your very youthful energy, which you only have one time in your life, on the wrong things. Because let's just say all these people going for business degrees that are pretty much useless, if they just invested in courses or mentorships, which are like one tenth, maybe even 1/100th of the price of colleges and universities, they would actually learn tangible skills that will actually start providing them a chance to either start their own business, e-commerce, drop shipping, Amazon FBA, any one of those online businesses. They could already start doing that at 20, 18, 19. They could start already down the path of actually starting and creating their own businesses, learning from their failures, learning from mentors, actually learning from courses and people who have actually done what they have taught, instead of learning from a fake guru who have never done what they taught. So that way you can actually learn the right skills and the right inputs to actually succeed. Now, of course, online, there are a bunch of fake gurus, to be completely honest. I actually know some out here in Bangkok. So of course you do need to do your due diligence of research, making sure they're actually a guru, like a real person who's done what they're teaching before you ever invest in anything online. And then number 4, this was really big for me, and that was living in a dorm, having a bunch of rules put on me when I'm 20 years old and I'm a man. Like, I need to do my own thing. I need to set my own rules and my own boundaries. And you can't really do that, especially if you're like me and you went to a Christian university. You have to be home before 12 a.m. You can't have any girls over. You can't have loud music. You can't do a bunch of stuff that I can do right now, having my own apartment. I couldn't do all the stuff I can do now back in university. We had like, what are they called? Like managers, or people, the dorm managers. They would come knock on your door to make sure you're back home by 12 a.m., which is just an extended version of indoctrination of childhood. And that's just not something you want as a man. You want to have your own independence, your own freedom to do what you want, when you want, however you want to do things. You can't do that in university, especially if you go to a Christian university. So of course it might be a little bit different at like UGA or some big university across the country, but in my university, it was just absolute shit for me, which I'm actually grateful for, because it opened my eyes. It pushed me to the edge. Like, okay, I don't want to go down this path anymore. I want to actually learn from a real person who's actually done what they taught. So that way I can learn what they teach me, apply those skills to my life, those inputs to my reality, and start down the path to where I actually want to go. Which leads on to number 5. And that number 5 is just a bunch of distractions. It was a little bit, I'm kind of going over what I talked about earlier, but just having so much stacked on your plate that you can never really think for yourself what you truly want in this life. I had chapel, 4 classes a day, training for basketball, and my whole schedule was tightly packed that I never just had time to sit with myself and think, am I doing the right thing? Is this really aligned with who I want to become? And all of that. I mean, I never had time to sit down, think for myself what I really wanted, because I always was going to parties, trainings, classes, chapel. I never had time to just sit down, relax, and think to myself, is this really what I want? Am I doing the right thing? I never really had that until a very crucial moment, which I'll talk about in a second. But I mean, other than that, you never really get to know what you want, which is the most important part in your life. If you never really know what you want, if you never find that dream for yourself that you want to create, that reality that you want, you'll never be able to get there, and you'll always just end up settling for building out someone else's dreams. And that's what I've seen from most people who go for a business degree. They learn accounting, some bullshit thing to help other people create their own businesses. The people that are willing to take the risk to actually go after what they want, they start building out someone else's dreams besides their own, which is the final, last but not least point I want to make. But the crucial point for me that was able to open up my eyes and to see, okay, I'm not going down the right path. I want to change path. I don't want to go down the fake guru route of learning from someone who's not doing what they taught me and ending up having to build out someone else's dreams beside myself. And that was actually on a shroom trip in my friend's dorm at another university. I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, okay, well, I'm going down the path. I already see the end of this path. It's not looking so good. So I need to change paths. And that's when I realized, okay, I need to drop out, invest in myself, go to the 9-to-5, get some cash flow. And there's a whole nother video on this, on like what I actually did after I dropped out, but basically dropped out, worked 2 9-to-5s that I absolutely hated, but I worked them because I needed money, of course. And then with that money, invested in this mentorship for like $5,000, which was 1/5 of the price I paid for college. And just with that course, I learned 1,000% more than I would have if I stayed the whole entire 4 years at the university that I went to. And with that course, that mentorship that I got into, I was able to learn about remote sales, selling, the skill of sales, and then translated that skill online to provide me a source of income out here in Bangkok, Thailand. And of course, it wasn't easy. It's a very unknown path. A lot of people, they're very comfortable, they're very complacent with the mediocrity path that lies before them with university and just going down the normal path that maybe your parents or grandparents all think is the only way, but times have changed. We're in an attention economy now. I mean, you can go work the 9 to 5. I'm not saying you don't have to go do that, but I mean, for some people, especially if you're watching this video, at least to this point, you know that that isn't the path for you. Some people, they see another path of greatness. You don't want to be in that mediocrity category. You want to be something more. And that's what I found for myself. I don't want to just settle for the mediocre, average life. I want to go out there and find something more. And that's exactly what I did. I've been living out here for the last 2 years, and I can just say it was well worth it of dropping out and finding out that college was a scam. And I'm glad that my college experience sucked because it opened up my eyes. It pushed me to the edge of actually dropping out and finding something better, which I did. So make sure right now, look, if you're in university, make sure you're actually learning from the right person. Like my brother, he's in university right now to be a pilot, and he's actually learning from a pilot. So congrats to him. That's good for him because now he's able to go down the path of actually being a pilot and not learning from a fake guru who's never taught what they've even done. So make sure you're learning from the right person. You're going down the path you actually want to go down because it's very likely that you've been distracted your entire life up to this point. And hopefully I'm able to open up your eyes and say, okay, your life is actually in your control. Are you going in the direction you want to go in, or are you not? And then if you're not, change path. You're more than welcome to do so. Grab life by the controls like it's a video game and start doing the things you want to do. So hopefully you guys get the point of the video. It's been a pleasure, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.